Okay, so today's training is a follow-up to the employee training. So you already have learned about all of these features, like how to log in, your Myself tab, how to submit your own timesheet, and also how to gain access to the system. Previously, you only had the employee level access, and so now you'll be having additional functionality as a supervisor or coordinator, or project manager, whatever your specific role is. We will be going over the functionality that you will now also have access to within that role. So first things first, as I log into the S2Tech the MyS2Tech homepage, you'll note that you have these features at the top as are highlighted that are in addition to what you saw as an employee. So these are the areas that we're going to be talking about today. The first one I'll point out is the My Team, and this is on your Smart Dashboard. Again, here you remember that you can toggle between your Smart Dashboard and your regular dashboard, which contains the updates from S2Tech. On the Smart Dashboard below yourself, you'll see My Team, and that will be anybody who is assigned to you, with you being their supervisor. So we are on Melissa Jobs' profile today. Starting out under My Team, you can see what these options are under the My Team drop-down menu. And we're going to start out on the Manager Guide. Click on this. The Manager Guide right now, you don't see a lot of information except for one link to some training. But in the future, this is going to be a very useful page for you, as it's going to contain important news and updates specific to supervisors within S2Tech. So this is something that you'll see if we need to share information with our leaders. Now that we're already within the My Team page, you can see that we also have these tabs open: the Manager Guide, My Employees, Time Management, and Onboarding. So we're going to go through these tabs next, starting with My Employees. On the My Employees page, you can see that it does look similar to the company directory that we went through in the employee training. However, on the My Employees page, just as it indicates, you're only going to draw results from your team. So to see a list of your team members, all you need to do is just not put any information in the qualifiers area and then select Search. And this is going to give you a full list of employees within your team. One thing worth note is that this is going to display anyone within your team that is basically below you within the team. So you won't see people that are above you within your team. For example, you won't see your account manager's name listed and things like that. You'll just see the people that are specific within your team below you. We can also see the Actions drop-down menu here, and on the Actions drop-down menu, you can see that it says Export to Excel or CSV. So you have the option to, with this report that you have ultimately run, you can just export that information if you need it. Okay, to take a look at this individual's information, we can just click on their name. Open up. It will open up in a new window. You will have access to view this employee's information, but you will not have the access to edit most things within this profile. So this is for your informational purposes. Furthermore, it's not going to necessarily contain every single profile information as you saw in your profile. You know, like the more super personal information is not going to be within these tabs. But we can see that we have the personal tab, the jobs tab, careers and education, benefits, and documents. So these are things that you can toggle through to see more information about this specific employee, see their skills that they have listed. You can see their certifications that they've achieved, so on and so forth. If there's documents that are associated with this employee, you'll be able to see those as well. For example, if there was an incident report form, or if there was a kudos email that got saved out there, that kind of thing, you'll be able to see those as well. At the top, you can see that there are arrows, and this is how you can toggle in between employees that are on your list that showed up on the previous screen. Once we've looked through their information or received or check through whatever we need to check through on here, we'll just exit out of this, which will bring us back to the My Employees tab. Next, we're going to move on to the Time Management tab. Before we do that, are there any questions about what we've seen so far? Okay. So next up is Time Management. We're going to click to open that. Just like it did for ourselves, this is going to open up in a new window. Another thing worth noting is that your supervisor version of time management is not the same as the time management under myself. So to access timesheets for your team, you do need to go under the My Team, and for yourself under the Myself. Pretty straightforward, but just need to make sure that's clear. So when you click on this, it opens up in a new tab. I'm sorry, in a new page or a new window. You'll default to the attendance summary page, and from here you'll be able to see those on your team and the status of their timesheets. So the status may say open or submit or approved. If the timesheet is open, that means that the employee has saved their timesheet, but they have not actually submitted it to you for approval yet. If it says submit, just means they've submitted it to you for approval, and if it says approve, that means you have already approved it. Just want to point out the approve this page feature. We're not going to use that button yet, but we'll come back to it. So here you'll see the summary, and then we can actually click to view each individual's timesheet by either clicking their name or by clicking the Timesheets tab at the top. So either way, we're going to be able to see each timesheet, but regardless of which one we click on, because that opens up the Timesheets tab. So now on this Timesheets tab, I can review Johnny's time. And by scrolling to the right, as you can see from this screenshot, there are scroll arrows both up and down and left and right. So I'm going to scroll all the way to the right to be able to see the rest of this timesheet. And I can see that Johnny entered 8 hours on each day, Monday through Friday, for his time. Now, in this instance, as Johnny's supervisor, I know that he was only in on a half day on Monday, so it looks like he misentered his time. So what I can do here is I can actually edit that time for him and add a note and enter in the fact that, hey, you took a half day on Monday, and I can confirm that note that's associated with that change. Now I can see that there's a little message box next to that, which just will save that note for future reference within this timesheet. Now, if Johnny had submitted his absence request previous to this, and he had been approved for that time on Monday, what we can do here, what we would see here is actually two different lines, one for his time worked of 4 hours on Monday and another line for his 4 hours of time off that was approved. In this circumstance, since we don't see any time off requests that have been approved for Johnny to make up for his hours missed on Monday, we could actually add a line on here using this plus button to be able to add in his vacation hours or whatever is specifically that was used for Monday to cover his hours off. Okay. So now that we've looked through it and we're good with the way that this looks, we want to approve this page. So we're going to scroll back over to the left. First thing we want to do is click Save. Save is important both on the employee level and from the supervisor level. Since we did make an edit, we have to make sure to click Save prior to approving it. Now we can see to the right of the Save button that's highlighted here, we have various buttons, and one of them being Approve. We have the option either to approve Johnny's timesheet specifically from having his timesheet up here, or for example, if you were reviewing, say, 10 timesheets at once, you can just review it here and save any changes that are needed, and then go back to the summary page and use that Approve This Page button to approve all of the timesheets that you'd already reviewed. That you click Approve on somebody's timesheets, as a supervisor, for those of you who are on projects and are approving timesheets for project-related work, this is saying that I confirm basically that the timesheet that is submitted here online through MyS2Tech system matches what the client has approved for this individual's time. Okay. Once we've clicked approve, we'll have a success message at the top, and then we can see that our timesheet status has been changed to approved. Questions about this? Fairly easy process to review and approve those timesheets. Okay. So next up, we're going to go to the History tab. We're still within the Time Management window. When we go to the, what do we call it? Oh, sorry, History tab. The History tab, this is going to pop up just a history of the employee's time worked. So within this calendar here you will see the dates highlighted that have work hours on them or have vacation days or whatever it may be. So in this instance, we didn't log any time until August, so we're not seeing them on January, February, March at the top here. But if you would scroll through this page, you would see those hours worked down there for the September hours that we logged as our first timesheet. It's just for a reference for you. Next up is the scheduler page that we can access on the top. This will bring us to the requests page. So the requests page is where you are reviewing the requests that have been submitted by employees. I will see a summary at the top under this to do. I can see that I have one time off request and it's new. I don't have any pending and none that are canceled pending. So that's the dashboard summarizing all of those at the top. And then in this example, I can see that Johnny has requested vacation, it's pending, and I can see that he submitted that on the 15th. I can also see that he's added some comments about his vacation request, so I can click to open those. So his comment was that he's traveling out of the country with no access to email. Now that I've looked at that vacation request and I've seen it, and beyond that, I know this is something that is going to be okay both from MyS2Tech and from the client end of things. I'm adding in a comment here that says confirm the time off with the client on the 16th. So I can add that in there and save that. Okay. And I did get a question in about the question of the 20th falling in the middle of the week and how we are accounting for that time midweek or at the end of week. The answer to that question is we are working on that scenario, and we'll have an update for you once we solidify that process. All right, so now we can see Johnny's vacation request. We added in our comment, and now that we know that it's approved by the client, we can see that it's been submitted here. We're good with those dates. We can check the box next to his name, which will activate the approve or deny buttons. In this instance, we're going to approve his request. And upon doing that, I'm going to receive a prompt that says that it's going to be posted to timesheets. And so what this confirms with me also is when I go into Johnny's timesheet for the week of October 12th, because that's when he's going to be gone, I will already see his vacation hours included on the days that have been approved for. So that won't be something that Johnny has to add separately. It will already be there because it was pre-approved. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Once it's saved, his request is going to be eliminated from that area below because it's not a new or pending request any longer. I can see that the dashboard was updated on the top part of that. Now I can always still re-review requests that I've already approved or denied or anything like that just by using the drop-down arrow here that is the request status. So I could say the request status is approved, and then I can check that out. Okay, I got a question that asked if it's going to show up as submitted if the system puts it out there and it's a full week. That is a great question, and that answer, I believe, is no. So for example, if somebody has submitted a vacation request for Monday through Friday for that full week, and they're going to be gone for the full week, I'll have to double confirm that with you, but I believe the employee will still have to go in and say submit, because that means that there's no additional hours that they need to allocate for. Okay. Good questions. All right. Next, we're going to go to calendars. And the calendars here, like it was kind of under the attendance area, this one is just for the request for the time off. So on this one, I brought up our calendars here for October through December. So you could see the approved requests, excuse me. So you can see the approved requests in October. You can see that they're highlighted in green with a little tree next to it and everything, little palm tree. They are on vacation. If we hover over it, we can see that that means vacation. Again, just at a glance, all of these calendars are for you. Next, we're going to go to reports. Reports you will be able to run, and reminder here, we are in the time management portion. So these reports are relative to the time management piece. We can see the available reports here on the left-hand side. To see the report name and description, we can see those in the center of our screen. And then in order to actually run one of those reports, once we determine which one we would like to run, we can just click on it. That's going to bring up our page where we see overview, properties, and preview at the top. The properties page is what you'll land to when you open up the report, because that means that's where you can input whatever is necessary to customize that report for your needs. So we'll scroll through this full area. There's more categories here than are showing in this particular screenshot, so we'll scroll through that to see the different inputs that we can add, like our date range and how we'd like it sorted and those kind of things. We can also then scroll to the very bottom and find the Publish button. So we'll click Publish. Once it is published, it'll show up on the left-hand side in your Published category above your report templates. You will still be in the Properties section of your report as you do that. And so to actually view the report, you can either click Preview here or click on the report here again, and then you'll be able to preview the report. When you preview it, you're going to see it in the format in which you outputted it. So in this instance, we did in Adobe. And we can see the PDF report here. Okay. Any questions about that? Okay. So the next menu item is Preferences. Well, we already answered questions. Next item is Preferences, and the only thing under this is a tab called Delegation. Anytime that for example, if you are going to be out of town or have a vacation and you're going to be gone, and what's going to happen to your employee timesheets when they need to be approved at the end of the week and you're on extended vacation? Well, this is where you can set that up. Again, this is specific to the time management function, as we're still within the time management window. So if I need to set this up for someone to cover for me while I am out in order to approve timesheets, I can click in the delegation and use the drop down of what I'm going to use. Your drop down for delegation options is only going to show anyone who has your access or above for whom you can delegate to. So you won't be able to delegate someone with lesser access than you to the system to do these approvals while you're out, which makes sense. So we're going to add this in. Just on this example, we had delegated to me, and from the 26th to the 30th, this person is going to be out. So we want to have them be approving the timesheets. Now, the notified checkmark box does not mean that the system will automatically notify that you've set them up as a delegation, because anytime this is happening, what needs to take place is that there's a conversation that is happening. So the checkbox is really your checklist item of, did I already have this conversation with this particular person? So that's what the notified checkbox means. Once this takes place, on the 26th through the 30th, if I were to go out to my time management portal, on the upper right-hand corner, I'm going to see a drop-down menu where I could toggle between my time management for my team, or I could click over to Melissa's, and I could literally act as Melissa and have all the functionality that she has to oversee her team and her team's timesheets for the time management function. So that's what that looks like when you set this up. During the dates that it's active only, this person would have access to my time management portal. Okay. Lastly, on this time management portal, we have the dashboard. Pretty straightforward, just a quick glance item that you can look at. You can customize this area, edit the settings to determine which gadgets you'd like on there and change the layout around and those kind of things. It's just a quick glance for you. And that takes care of time management before we go back to the main MyS2Tech portal. Any questions about time management? Okay, so we're going to exit out of that portal, which brings us back to the time management tab where we originally received the new pop-up window for the time management. And the last tab that we have here under My Team is onboarding. Now this is empty as of now. The purpose of the onboarding page is just for you to be able to see any pending hires that are relevant to your team that you will ultimately be a supervisor for. So there is no specific action that needs to be taken here. This is just for informational purposes. Okay, that takes care of My Team. So the next area that we need to look at is reporting, and this is going to be the last area for the supervisor function. Under reporting, one question about time management that came through before we move on. Since the delegation is downward, will it be possible for a manager to approve timesheets when a coordinator is gone for vacation? And that answer is yes. Yep. Good question. All right, so let's go on to reporting, and here you'll have access to the standard reports. To see the available reports that you have, we're going to click available. And then we can, without putting any credentials in, just click search to see a full listing of the types of reports that we can see. To look at any of these reports, you see the category and the report name. We're just simply going to click on the report, and that's going to bring up a new window that will show us the information that goes into the report. We see the reporting criteria. We can scroll through all of this information to input, what dates are we reporting on? Are we reporting on specific people? How do we want to report to output, and how do we want it grouped and sorted? So entering in all of this information, this specific example, we're just running an employee birthday listing, so we can input that information here. Jumping to the report output type, we gave the name, a name to this report. And we're also going to save it as a template. And by doing this, it means that you can, just as any template is, use it as a basis to start a report in the future with these settings already created for you. And then you can just make any tweaks or adjustments or changes as needed to this template. So it kind of helps you out in the future, depending on what the report is. Once we're satisfied with this, we will move to our summary page. And once we're satisfied here, just click Finish. Here, that will, after clicking Finish, that's going to auto-exit you from this window and is going to return you to the available, will return you to the completed reports page. And now we can see that the employee birthday listing is already here. This is the criteria that we created just a second ago. To see that report, you can just click the name and it will open up the file. In this example, we saved it as a PDF. Okay. Now, in this example too, we saved it as a template. So that means if we go to Saved Templates, we can see this report now listed here. And if we would like to use this template to create another report, whether it's the same one or tweak the dates that it's run within or whatever it may be, we can just click on that template name and it's going to bring up that report window again where we can make those adjustments and save the report again. Okay, so that is running reports. And lastly, here we have file transfers. And so this is if you ever need to share a report that you have run with someone at your level or above, or if someone else has shared a report with you, you will access those here as well. So any report that you have run is going to show up on this page, and you can then click whatever report you would like to share. Under the Action section, you see Transfer. Click OK on that, and we can determine who we'd like to send to. And once we do that, just click Save, and we'll have submitted that file transfer. Any questions on reporting? I hope you're seeing that this is pretty easy to use, really, once you're out here and kind of get your hands on it. So again, at this point, you do have the access to all of these features that we went over today. So I do encourage you to go ahead and in addition to reviewing your employee information, to take a look at this functionality as well. Getting your hands on it is much different than just seeing me flip through the information about it. So we will be going live with those with everyone in October, but obviously you being part of this initial group, you'll need access to it more or less right away. And again, related to the 20th question, we'll be sharing more information about that as soon as we finalize our plan. Any last questions here? Okay.